Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the IMAA's Insights and Innovation series for this wonderful Monday. Today, we've got our good friends and partners at Gumtree, and we have the amazing Lupe Prade and also KC. I'm not going to say her full name. I'll let her do that because I will mess it up. And she made a joke before about it, which I'm not going to repeat. The guys are going to be talking about the circular economy. I had the pleasure of seeing some of the highlights of it last week, and it's pretty interesting. And probably the subline of that is doing well by doing good, which I'll let the guys eloquently more talk about that shortly. So without further ado, I'll hand over to KC and Lupe to take over. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks for the opportunity to get in front of all of the IMAAs. We always love kicking off a Monday with a good presentation about sustainability and what we're doing in that space. But before I kick off, there's a couple of familiar team members that you would see. You can't miss them. They've got the purple background behind them. But Charlie Booth, who you all know and love and deal with day to day, obviously with a fresh tan. He's just back from Europe. It's his first day back on the job today. And then, of course, with his trusty sidekick, James Cubis. Also, I'm going to apologise up front. I am the worst slide master ever. I'm not sure how Lupe allows me to do this, but especially on Google Meets, it's not my forte. So if something stuffs up in the meantime, just bear with us. We'll get through it. And I can't actually see any of your lovely faces. So if you have a question, please just shout out and ask away. So jumping in, at Gumtree, we really do have a clear mission and purpose as a business. So our mission is to create perfect matches on Australia's most trusted local marketplace. And our purpose is to make a positive change by helping everyone and everything find a new purpose. So as we trade together, we do save together. And with that, we've had a long-term commitment to sustainability. So since 2007, when we officially launched in Australia, we kicked off and everybody loved the platform. It's great that we have taken the, historical stages of this platform to today, but made it even better with our commitment towards sustainability. So in 2021, we actually launched our first secondhand economy report, and that focused on the environment, our community, and personal finances. In 2021, I know that's 10 years later, but we really did push the needle there with creating a partnership with Planet Ark to launch the Trading in the Circular Economy report, which had a huge impact last year, especially during COVID. We had amazing numbers and results, and everyone in the industry was super, super interested and engaged in this report. Celebrating 2022, so it was our 15-year birthday this year, and also we did some really cool things with our report. So instead of just launching the report as it was, we actually had a Gumtree House of Circularity activation, which the team have been working on for the past 12 months, and to see it come to life, I'm sure a few of you guys were there. It was just amazing to walk through something, see all of the Gumtree furniture that was in there. I almost had, I want to refurbish my whole house based on the furniture and what was put down there. But it was such an awesome event, and I hope we continue it in the future. And then coming into 2003, so looking forward, we really want to, as part of our ongoing commitment, review as our own business all of our processes for a better future. So I'll talk more about that at the end of the presentation, but that's our journey so far. So looking at the marketplace evolution, and before we jump into this year's circular economy report with Lupe, I just want to take you through the online boom we've seen within consumer-to-consumer marketplaces and how it has changed the way we shop in store and online. So two trends that we're focusing on today is really the marketplace evolution and the growth of sustainability. So there's definitely a new way of shopping. The C2C marketplace has surged along with consumers' growing concern about sustainability. So each year we run network surveys to understand more about our Gumtree users. And within this year's research, a staggering 89% of users have said that they want to reduce their contribution to landfill by reusing items. So that is a huge number of Gumtree users that are actually thinking about the environment as they use the platform. And looking at the marketplace and how it has evolved, with more people staying indoors through the pandemic, there was a real need to shop online and a shift in consumer behaviour. So you guys can all agree that we've had enough time throughout the last 2 years to build habits that will stick with us for life. So again, these statistics are super fresh. They're from this year's survey, and it really does show the juxtaposition between Gumtree frequency. So 64% of Gumtree users visit weekly or more, which is huge. And then looking at the left-hand side, where 87% of Gumtree users visit monthly, and then underneath you can see only 33% of users are actually visiting a brick and mortar store, like a hardware store or a DIY store, and then 24% of the users are only visiting department stores monthly. So that is a big shift in marketplace consumption, and the numbers has actually stayed very stable, even though we are out of COVID at the moment. And to further prove my point, not only has online retail disruption made an impact, so has the perception when it comes to C2C marketplace. So let me play this video for you.
Steve is an apprentice mechanic, but he spends most of his time reading the Trading Post. He just loves buying and trading.
Ergonomic chairs, 4 of them. What do you want? 180. Dreaming. Dad, 450. For jousting sticks, telling me dreaming.
How much is a jousting stick worth, Dad?
Not going to be more than 250. And on the condition.
So if you guys haven't seen that clip before, it is from the iconic Australian cult film The Castle, which I'm sure you guys have all seen at some point in your lives. But it really just shows that it's not just the old bargain hunter. It is really about looking for brands, purposeful actions, and buying sustainable. So gone are the days of the avid bargain hunter, and what we are really seeing is the rise of the considered consumer. So I guess if we look at these stats here, 81% of users are taking highly purposeful actions. So that could be listings, replying, searchings, all on their last visit. And to do that, they actually have to be logged in. So that's really great to see that 81% of customers coming to the platform are actually taking action. In terms of active seekers, 63% of users are looking for a specific brand or item. One story that I always love to say in market is we were doing some work with IKEA last year, and our platform does allow us to look at search terms within the last 6 months, the last 12 months, and we're able to tell them, 12 million people have searched for a piece of IKEA furniture as a broad term. And then we were actually able to look at the top 10 searched for items. And we all know what IKEA furniture is like. It's some sort of random Scandinavian waterfall name, and then a drawer or a cupboard or a table set or whatever. So people are actually typing in the full Scandi name. I wouldn't even know how to spell it, but that just shows you how highly purposeful our users are when they're searching for a specific brand. They know what they want and they know where to get it. And then this is my favorite stat from this slide. 85% of our Gumtree users prefer to buy from sustainable brands. So that is a huge shift in the consumer mindset, because now not only are we wanting to recycle, upcycle, and upgrade, we also are thinking about the sustainable element in that. And then moving over to the circular effect. So eco motivations are driving the C2C marketplace, which is amazing. In terms of upcycling, 87% of our users prefer to reuse pre-loved items to give items a second, third, or longer life. In terms of uptrading, 88% of people prefer to sell or donate unwanted items to reduce the impact on landfill. And then in terms of upgrading, 89% of users actively buy and sell items to benefit themselves financially and invest in what they really want to buy, which you'll see in the circular economy report in a minute. So to talk you through the circular economy going mainstream, I'm handing over to Lupe, our head of research, to take you through findings from our very own Gumtree users. Over to you, Lupe.
Thanks, Caitlin. So as you watch these trends unfold from our Gumtree users, we basically invest in annual independent research to highlight not only the financial opportunity, but the environmental benefits that consumers can get by participating in the Australian circular economy. So Basically, the circular economy we feel is the future, and Gumtree is and always has been, a really important part of that growth piece. We've actually been working on this report since 2007 and rebranded it last year as the Circular Economy Report in partnership with Planet Arc. So just a quick snapshot of the research itself. Like I said, it's independent. We partner with Planet Arc. It is weighted to the ABS gender and population. And you can see we've got quite a big capture there, over 1,000 respondents, happened in July, and 18 to 64. So the research itself was launched last week. So it's very, very fresh. So you'll be one of the first to see it. We'll see if this video plays.
Fingers crossed, guys.
Yeah, so this is a quick snapshot of the report.
Yeah, no audio, guys.
I was going to say, I think the sound is a bit patchy on this one. That's okay. We'll just go to the next slide.
Sure. There you go.
Great. So a quick snapshot of this year's report. We know that on average, 86% of Aussies have 21 items which are pre-loved or unwanted in their homes that they could be selling. We also know that savvy Aussies are pocketing almost $7,000 per household for their unwanted goods. So it's a lot of money to be made by selling unwanted items. And the estimated value of the circular economy in Australia is 62 billion, and that's growing year on year. So if we go to the next slide, I can just show you how much it's actually grown, because it is pretty exponential. So what we're seeing here is over the past 4 years, we've had 44% growth, which is great. But in the last, I beg your pardon, 12 months, we've had 29%. So you can see 29% over the last 12 months, but they're comparing to the last 3 years, it was 12%. So we are doubling our growth compared to 3 years prior. So that's growth. Let's take a quick look at the environmental considerations amongst Australian consumers. So younger generations are leading the way, with boomers and Gen X not too far behind. You can see there millennials right up there, 92%, also Gen Z at 90%. But still, even though it is pretty even across the board, and it's pretty incredible to think that 88% of all Australians are actively considering their environmental implications when buying new or getting rid of their items. So they're thinking about their actions, and they want to make sure that whatever they're doing, they're thinking about the environment first. So 76% of those trading in the circular economy are doing so for sustainable reasons. So that's why they're using platforms like Gumtree. And the top 3 are to reduce waste and recycling. Second would be saving items from going to landfill, so giving that item a second or a third life. And also conscious consumerism, so thinking about their social, economic, or environmental impact. Now, following that is on number 4, financial benefits. Of course, people would like to make a bit of extra money. And then the act of decluttering, so, clearing things out when it's spring. The other really exciting stats, one of my favorite stats, is 130 million items have been saved from landfill in the last 12 months. Just the last 12 months, which is massive, which is so exciting to see. And again, some really strong stats here. So 85% of Australians say that they're saving items to going to landfill. So if you're thinking about getting rid of something, like 85% of Australians are thinking, okay, well, how can I do this, so that it doesn't go to landfill? So it's a huge percentage, and again, it's in growth. So this equates to 15 items per household, and it's not uncommon for those who are really sustainably motivated to save much more. 1 in 2 Australians trading on online marketplaces with this as it's their top motivation as well, to keep things out of landfill. Also, in a new emerging trend, which is quite interesting this year, is the upcycle trend. It's really reached new heights, and marketplace users are reaping the benefits of upcycling. So 80% of marketplace users are actively trying to reduce the impact on landfill by reusing and repairing or upcycling items. And then 1 in 4 are saying that basic upcycling techniques could increase the value of their item by 30%. I can also say that with this stat, it doesn't surprise me, because what we really saw over the pandemic was lots of people coming onto Gumtree, really creating a bit of a side hustle by upcycling items. So there's a few proof points that Caitlin will talk to you a little later. Now, even though lots of people are getting into recycling and upcycling, there are still a few who believe, it's a bit of hassle over hustle. So still many Australians say that there's something stopping them from upcycling items found on online marketplaces. So the most common reason stopping Australians is not having the knowledge or the expertise. So that's a really good area. If you're someone who, if you're a brand that can teach people how to upcycle, this is a great area for you. Not having the materials or the tools, not having the money to invest in upcycling, or then just a lack of time. Okay, so let's look at the Aussies that are cashing in with their circular economy. Now, for context, it's important to look at the state of household finances in 2022. With economic uncertainty, stagnant wage growth, and interest rates going up, Aussies are feeling a bit of a pinch. So we're seeing here that 31% are experiencing some sort of financial stress, and 29% are comfortable, but would still struggle if an unexpected expense came up. And then 21%, or 1 in 5, are very concerned about the ability to pay household expenses. Now, that's up 7% year on year for those who have a really experiencing true financial stress. So lots of Australians are turning clutter into cash. 8 in 10 are actively using online marketplaces and saving them from going to landfill. So again, that marketplace use, that online marketplace use is in growth. And then what are they doing with the extra cash? Well, 1 in 3 are saving money for a rainy day, and 1 in 4 spend the money on special items or something to treat themselves. So we know 81% of Australians are saving items from landfill in the past year by participating in the circular economy, but who's leading the way? It's no surprise that millennials and Gen Z continue to be the most sustainably savvy, but the generational gap is closing, which really is really good to see. So boomers are catching up, showing the most notable growth of 7% year on year. But Aussies are still also sitting on a potential gold mine. So I mentioned before that, $7,000 is what the average amount you could be making through the circular economy. But what's interesting to see here year on year is Gen X really stepping up. So this is the first time Gen X is making more money than millennials. So I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know whether it's like they've got better items or they're just really savvy marketers, but it's great to see this growth. So what items are worth their weight in gold, you might want to know. So the most commonly sold items are clothing and accessories, music and books, electronics, games and toys, furniture, and home decor. So with 98 million pre-loved goods exchanging hands in the last 12 months, which is massive, that's actually a growth of 9 million items year on year. So people are really avidly, actively using online marketplaces to shift these items from their homes. Interestingly, there are really vast differences in what people are prepared to buy pre-loved versus new, and maybe some of you can relate to this. But certainly pre-loved, desks, office furniture, pretty high, dining tables and chairs, home decor, secondhand cars, and sports equipment as well. So if you've got any of those items banging around your house, I would put it on Gumtree and get paid. By contrast, Australians prefer new beds. No surprise there. I'm definitely buying a new mattress for my bed, home appliances, baby clothing, followed by cars as well. So I mean, there's a bit of both on the car side, whether you're looking for a new car or a used car. So our research also shows that there is a growing consideration around the future of the planet and the shifting of traditional models of consumption. Consumers are really reviewing their sustainable values and their consumption choices, whether it's in the supermarket or in a department store or even via online marketplaces. They're doing it everywhere. So what we're seeing is the entering of this new conscious consumer. We know that 9 in 10 of Australians are likely to consider replacing or upgrading the item they're selling with a new item, but almost all of these people say that they consider the environmental impact of the purchase decisions while they're shopping. And when it comes to actual behavioral change, 82% have already made significant changes to their personal consumption habits in the past decade for the well-being of the planet. So it's great to see that, that funnel where, we want to do one thing, we're considering, but then when we get to action, again, we're getting pretty close. So from consideration to action, 81% of Australians are now actively choosing to buy sustainable products, with almost half of those saying that they choose sustainability as their first choice. So if there's a sustainable product there next to a different product, if it costs more, that's okay. They're still going to go with a sustainable product. And 2 in 3 are putting their money where their mouth is, saying they're willing to pay more at the checkout. So it's really positive behavior. And it's an enormous opportunity where consumers are not just demanding brands to evolve for the better, but they're willing to pay a premium to incentivize it. So that's a snapshot of the research. I'm going to pass back to Caitlin to talk about what we're doing in this space by doing well, by doing good.
Thank you, Lupe. That was, even though I've seen that report a couple of times, I still can't believe that people could actually be sitting on 7 to 10K just with household objects. I'm about to move house in the next month or so, so I'll definitely be adding items to Gumtree and hoping to build up my cash and either buy new furniture or try and upcycle. But we are really doing well by doing good. And that's actually one of my favorite sayings, because I think doing something well, you have to do it simply. And I guess for us, we are starting off with the education piece, but Gumtree really is focusing on 3 key pillars overall, biggest one being education. So to drive growth in Australia's circular economy, we also want to empower people. So empowering our Aussies to improve their financial wellbeing, because that's what we're all about. And then, of course, the environment. So the actual impact that we're having on the environment and the consideration to reuse, repair and upcycle and give that object a second life. So under education, as you've just seen, our annual research report is so important. We pride ourselves on having this come out every single year, and every single year it just keeps getting bigger and better. So together with Planet Arc, we aim to drive the adoption of more sustainable practice nationally. And I really do believe that it is providing this education piece to all of our advertisers, our partners, and the list goes on, because I really learn a lot from this piece as well. Some more education. So this is one of my favorite clips. Hopefully it plays for you guys, but it's really important that we do actually give real tips to real people. And this video is actually non-scripted. So we got the talent on board, and he actually used his own nonna to film this video, which was very cute.
What are we doing today, G?
Oh, we try to sell something, we try to make a bit money.
Let's find something from the house you don't use much and put it on Gumtree. Do you like money?
Yeah, I like money, yeah.
Me too, let's do it.
All right, come on,
Let's go. What about all these glasses up here?
Oh, no.
What about this vase over here?
No.
What about your cookbook, G?
Oh, no, that's gift for my birthday.
Can you think of anything else we can sell?
Oh, well, we go in the kitchen. Let's go. You got the blender there, you can sell it there, because I never use it.
It looks in pretty good condition.
It's because I look after things. Take photos.
All right, we'll get it up there.
Make sure they look good, otherwise they're not buy.
All right, G, how much should we sell it for?
Couple hundred.
Couple of $100? That's a lot. What is it made of, gold?
Let's sell it for 70.
All right, let's do it.
All done. Very easy.
Yeah, so everyone always loves that video.
What are we doing?
Here we go. There we go. But yeah, Nonna is definitely a cracker. more to do with education. So really educating our young families that use the platform. So in August 2021, Gumtree partnered with Jimmy Rees, who you guys have probably all seen before. He's very big on TikTok at the moment. He's pretty funny. But he launched an online book with Gumtree to educate Aussie kids on financial literacy and a sustainable future using the circular economy. So Ollie and the Spectral Spectacles was created to equip parents with the knowledge and resource to help educate the next generation. So to really improve their financial and environmental literacy, it was a great campaign. And honestly, I sat through the live reading and it was really interesting in how they put it towards everyday lives for young Australian families to take on. And then empowerment. So in 2021, we partnered with Mark Boris, which reaffirmed our commitment to educating Australians about the value of trading within the circular economy. So we really did focus on the growth of the side hustler in the global pandemic times. We did see a huge surge in side hustlers trading on Gumtree, which is amazing to see. And another way we empowered our Gumtree users is we actually got real life stories. So the pandemic really shaped our gummies, or our Gumtree users. So one of my favorites is about Mel, who has used the platform since 2012. She reckons she saved around 100K from buying secondhand objects and reupholstering them. But in COVID, like a lot of people, she did actually lose her job, but that didn't really hold her back. She decided to go down a whole different path and convert a vintage horse float into a pop-up bar. Like, how do people even think of that? But Hitched was essentially born. And honestly, this woman is truly amazing. She's still running her business today. So if you do have a wedding coming up, please check out Hitched by Mel, because the cart, everything looks so gorgeous. She saved a lot of money by getting those secondhand objects from Gumtree, but it was great to be able to hear from her and use her story to educate others. And then another point from empowerment is we're extending a message with financial influencers. So we really want to make sure that we're getting that empowerment and education piece out to people that we know, or the younger generation who are sustainable. They're very savvy. I have tongue-tied. And you guys would have heard of Invest with Queenie and the Broke Generation. Those are fantastic female influencers that really do get the message out, and we did have a really strong reach over that time. In terms of education, again, new in 2022. So to take one step more from our annual report, we have created a white paper to, again, educate the industry. It's 20 pages long with amazing stats that you can pull to help support your advertisers and partners and shape campaigns. And you can easily access that by the QR code just on the left-hand corner there. And for the first time in 2022, Gumtree did create the House of Circularity, which I mentioned before. It was a fully styled and curated space filled with furniture, home decor, collectibles, and exclusively and sustainability from Gumtree. So I was actually going around the house on Wednesday and I was like, can I buy this afterwards? We're actually donating everything to charity. But if you did miss out last Wednesday, you can have a checkout of our 3D House of Circularity. So this is a new product that is launching on Gumtree. And essentially it comes out of a Scrollex ad unit or a Celtra ad unit. But if you get your phone out, put your QR code on, you'll actually be able to walk through the House of Circularity as if you were there last Wednesday. It's a really cool piece of technology, and it has come off the back of the success that we've had with Cars Guide. And then lastly, before I wrap up, something very exciting in 2022, we actually partnered with Dean Epovitz, which he just brought a whole new flair to the game. He had so much to show us in terms of how he would reupholster something, especially with that trend that Lupe was talking about before, with 60% of users not actually knowing how to or where to start with upcycling. So we partnered with him, and he hosts a live show, The Repair Shop. And essentially he puts together a set of drawers, and he showed us how to paint the set of drawers and change out the drawer settings and the knobs and things like that. But I think the great thing about him is he gave us some really good tips to take away. So One being start small and look for items that don't require as much expertise. So like literally painting over something. Don't presume you can upcycle modern furniture. Reupholstering, I haven't tried that one yet, but he kind of took us through that, and creating your own DIY toolbox. So I don't know if you guys know this, but on Gumtree we actually have a full home and garden section which has DIY tools, and there's over 70,000 listings there, so you can very easily make your own tools from home and start your upcycling journey. So lastly, before I throw back to Sam, I did want to talk about our sustainable partnership packages. So we want to make sure in 2022 we are not only making sustainable commitments, but we want to make an impact on media. And we do know that with any partnership, it can't just be cookie cutter. We need to make sure that we're using bespoke instances and we're solving problems for our advertisers. So, for example, if you have an advertiser that you know has a sustainable message or wants to be a part of sustainable forward thinking and doesn't know where to start, please connect with Charlie Booth, because we do make bespoke packages. And that doesn't have to look like a bonus line item on a media schedule. It can be so much more ingrained than that. So that's why we haven't just got packages to send out. We really want to make it a partnership to discuss what we can do with your customer and actually move the needle there. So thank you for listening to me today. The slides did very well, which was good, but thank you, Sam. I'll hand back to you and stop sharing my slides.
Thank you so much, Casey. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. What a fantastic, purpose-driven business you guys are. It's very much in line. The IMAA is going to be working in the environmental space, and we're looking very much forward to sharing our plans and how we're going to help all our agencies be more environmentally aware. So thank you, guys. If there are any questions or any way that we can connect you with these guys, please yell out. Otherwise, this will be housed in our YouTube channel, housed in our education hub. Finally, next week we've got ACM. Salary survey will be out this week. We've done a shout out if anyone wants to be part of the academy process in terms of the content, and just double checking that, verifying that. Please reach out to Beck. And the digital deep dive. This is the biggest event we're going to have, I think, in the history of the IMAA. It's going to be at Sydney Aquarium. It's out there. Make sure you got your RSVPs and it's in your diary for, I think, the 19th of October. And we're beyond excited about that. It's going to be something that's never been seen in the media world before. So thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. Let's have a wonderful week. Thank you, Gumtree, and all your support, your wonderful partners. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Charlie Booth.
See you, Dan. Thanks, mate. Good to be back.
Yeah, send all your inquiries that way.
Yeah, that's it. I'm back.
Dan's looking good, Charlie.